So lately I've been giving Samsung a hard time when it comes to that software fluidity and functionality compared to my Pixel 7 Pro. However, I kept saying that I'll make my final conclusion when the One UI 5 update comes, and the One UI 5 update has finally arrived, so let's talk about it. This video will be mainly about the animation, the overall stability, and visual changes across the whole user interface, because I feel like those three are the most important when it comes to designing a software for your smartphone. I'll be making more videos in the future going more in depth into what One UI 5 has to offer. I'll be talking about all the other small changes compared to all the big changes I'll be talking about in this video. Starting off with animations, let me just say, whoa, Samsung actually went back to the drawing board and designed an animation that actually makes sense. On previous One UI versions, the animations did not feel natural or actually usable. There has been times where I was tempted to switch back to the buttons, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it because buttons are so old school, I feel like. It was the most inconsistent animation experience I've ever experienced. One time you'll be getting a smooth transition from getting out of an app, and then the other time you'll get a bouncy animation that skips 30 frames and just lags and stutters. This used to sort of infuriate me because I used to think Xiaomi, Google and other Android smartphone companies give their user experience an even natural experience across the whole software. But then Samsung, what is stopping them, a multi-billion dollar company, what is stopping them from giving their users the exact same experience? They have more than enough resources to allocate dedicated software engineers into the development of One UI, making it more efficient, overall stable, animations and buttress. That used to infuriate me so much because Samsung has got the power and has got the resources to do that. Well, I'm finally happy to tell you that One UI 5 finally brings a consistent gesture-based experience across the whole software. I no longer see random bounces and major drop in frames when going in and out of apps and doing overall basic stuffs. I actually know what animations to expect now, instead of having to guess what animation the phone is going to come up with this time. Opening and closing the control panel on One UI 4 was a nightmare. Like seriously, if you've got One UI 4.1, comment down below your experience and tell me if I'm right or wrong, but especially when you're in apps, like it just lags, skips frames, doesn't look good at all. Like I wonder what actually was the problem with the control panel, because it specifically always happened to the control panel. I think that it might have been a bug that Samsung never really got to fix in One UI 4 and One UI 4.1, because before that on One UI 3 we never had that problem on the control panel. It only came with One UI 4. So Samsung probably messed up there and couldn't find a way to fix it until One UI 5, but thankfully it's finally fixed now. After updating my Galaxy S22 Ultra to One UI 5, the one thing I checked above all was the control panel animation. Not only has Samsung added a smoother, more pleasing to look at animation, it also doesn't really lag in apps anymore. I feel like the control panel has been one of the areas Samsung has improved on a lot when it comes to One UI 5. I love the visual changes on the notification panel as well, but I'll talk more about that on my next point. If you're this far into the video, then it means that you're enjoying it, so hitting that subscribe button down below will show your appreciation. We're only 8 subscribers away from 500, so I will really appreciate it a lot. And whilst you're down there, also leave a like to help the algorithm out. If I compare the animations of my S22 Ultra running One UI 5 to my Pixel 7 Pro running Android 13, then I find that you still get a bit more frame drops on the S22 Ultra compared to the Pixel 7 Pro. The Pixel is still a bit smoother when it comes to animations. My S22 Ultra experiences some frame drops at least once every time I unlock my phone, but my Pixel 7 Pro rarely, and I mean rarely ever, drops frames than anything. Drops on my S22 Ultra gets even worse when the phone gets hot. Like when my phone just gets a bit hot to the touch, I just give up on the whole idea of having a smooth software experience. My S22 Ultra turns from a $1,000 phone to a $200 phone from 2012. Like the lag is just immense, the stutteriness is just bad, and I'm just not impressed that Samsung still hasn't fixed this on One UI 5. On One UI 4, that was a major problem I really hated. Other phones, when they get hot, you might think, oh, it's a normal thing, but when other phones get hot, they still keep the consistency in animations. The Pixel gets really hot, no lag. The iPhone gets really hot, no lag. The Samsung gets really hot, it turns from a $1,000 phone to a $100, $200 phone from 2012. Where is the consistency? This does not make me happy at all, because I thought One UI 5 would at least improve it, because the Pixel can do it, the iPhone can do it. Why can't the $1,000 Samsung S22 Ultra do it? This is not good. Samsung, I love you, but I have to call you out. It's not like you're smaller than the other two companies I just mentioned, Apple and Google. You have more than enough funds to fix this problem, but somehow you're still not doing it. Xiaomi fixes this problem. I've seen videos of Xiaomi, Redmi, all these other phones having buttery smooth animations. But then One UI on Samsung S22 Ultras are just not good at all. Don't get this confused by the phone throttling and reducing the CPU usage. Yes, phones throttle when they get hot, but they don't throttle the animations, because I haven't seen any other phone throttle animations when they get hot, unless the battery is on like 3-4%. Then yes, all phones can get laggy. The Pixel gets laggy when out. My Pixel 7 Pro got really laggy when I was on 3-2%. Like, it's normal, but when you have sufficient battery and it just gets hot from your usage, don't throttle, please. I'll say it again, I honestly don't know what the culprit is to Samsung's lack of optimization when it comes to their software, but I really hope they fix it soon enough. Moving on away from my little rant I just had there, let's talk about the visual changes on my S22 Ultra running One UI 5. When I first updated my phone, the first visual change I could see was more vibrant colors when it comes to the app icons. They pop and shine a lot more, and they stand out from the background more. The separation between your blurred background and, let's say, your control panel or your folder is more noticeable now. I'm not really sure how Samsung managed to achieve this, but I will read through the channel log again. Not the channel log. I will read through the update log again, because I think they mentioned this somewhere in there. My favorite change to the visuals will have to be the more brighter answer or decline buttons when you're receiving a call. It just makes things a lot more easy to differentiate compared to before, where the colors were a lot more dull. I'm not sure why Samsung decided to go for dull colors. Doesn't really make sense, but now the colors just stand and pop out a lot more, which makes it easier to decide. When Samsung was talking about the brighter colors in the developers conference, I was saying to myself, what difference would that actually really make? Well, let me tell you, it does make a difference, and until you use One UI 5, you won't really notice it. It makes a massive difference to your user experience, in my opinion. I love this because it's not something Samsung has to do. It just shows that they actually care about the user experience in the first place. There has also been better integration with third-party apps such as WhatsApp, where before One UI 4, the answer and decline button when receiving calls were both grey, but now they follow the overall user interface's theme, where the answer button is green and the decline button is red, and these two colors, green and red, do pop out a lot more and are a lot more vibrant as well. That was such a bad design, by the way, before One UI 4. I'm not sure if it's Samsung or WhatsApp that did it. Anyways, doesn't really matter who did it, it's a really terrible design, having the answer and decline button the same color. Yes, I'm nitpicking, but come on, it's 2022. Let's talk about the stability of One UI 5, because I think this is where Samsung slipped up. Samsung has been known in the past couple years to have the most stable software experience compared to most other Android manufacturers, and this is true. One UI 4.1 never really gave me any issues on my S22 Ultra. I've had it for months and months now, and I've never really found a bug apart from one time where YouTube crashed on me, and that has never really happened to me before on any of my Samsung phones. So I can happily say that Samsung does have a really stable software experience, but on One UI 5, that's where I'm starting to see a bit of a problem. When watching a YouTube video, for example, and I lock my phone for a bit and I unlock it again, the whole screen freezes, not just the YouTube app. Like, I tried using my gestures to go to the home screen, close the app, restart it again, but even my gestures don't work. The control panel, the notifications panel, they don't work either. The whole screen just freezes. So what I have to do is lock my phone for a couple seconds, unlock it again, and the screen starts working, but the YouTube app still is frozen basically. So I have to go to my home screen, close the app, restart it, you know what I mean? So this is quite weird because Samsung has never really had bugs like this in my experience from my usage. So it's quite an inconvenience, but this is surely something they can easily fix with the November security update, so I'm not too worried about it. My control panel also froze on me once when I was trying to access it, which again I had to lock my phone, unlock it, and then voila, it's fixed again. This only happened once though, so I'm not sure if it's just a one-off thing or it's an actual bug. So apart from those two that I just mentioned, the One UI 5 update has been quite flawless in bugs and stuff. Samsung really took the time releasing the actual stable version, because they were only planning on releasing 4 beta softwares, I think, but they ended up releasing like 6, which is quite a lot for a software update. So Samsung did take the time to, go through everything, comb through all the bugs. So I don't really think you'll find that much problems on your One UI 5. All in all, should you be excited in the One UI 5 update, or has Samsung just made a big mess up? From my experience, Samsung has brought a lot of functionality with the One UI 5 updates. This is especially true if you love animations. The One UI 5 updates is the update that Samsung used to show us, the users, that they actually do care about us and that they actually do listen. They outlined and solved most of the problems that we users have been complaining about on the internet, whether it's Twitter, Reddit, or on fan forums. So yes, I would say do be excited to get your hands on the One UI 5 update. Watch this video here to my comparison between the Galaxy S22 Ultra and Pixel 7 Pro. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter, link in the description. And I'll catch you in the next one.